everybody. So Tara here, and I wanted to share with you some of my tips on the two things that I have seen interfere with someone's weight loss journey, and they're tricky and they're sneaky, and I'm really excited to talk with you about them today. Okay, so the first one is not reading your labels correctly and letting a lot of processed foods sneak into what you're eating. Here's the thing. Our bodies are meant to handle, like what I like to say, what God created, right? It recognizes those things in our bodies. And when we introduce other elements, in my experience of working with people, I find that it puts an added strain on the body and it can interfere with weight loss. Well, one of the problems that has happened with our society, and it kind of grew out of like the low fat craze, and during that time, is we pay so much more attention to this part of a label as opposed to this part, the ingredient list. So back in the day when they made things low fat, right? Remember the low fat craze? They would lower the fat, but what they would do is they would add all kinds of garbage to give the food the flavor that we could get from fat, but it was artificial stuff that our body doesn't recognize and process properly. And so that's kind of evolved. And I see this a lot, like a lot of times, one of the products that I often recommend to my clients is Shakeology. And they'll immediately go, oh, well, that's got sugar in it, so I can't have it. And I'm like, okay, well, it does, but the sugar is coming from like really healthy superfoods that are gonna make you feel amazing. They're nutrient rich. It's one thing to have like empty sugars that don't have any nutrients. They're gonna leave you feeling deprived, leave you feeling like you need more. You never quite feel full. But when you're drinking or eating something that's nutrient rich, it's good for your body and you need it. Okay, so people get really stuck on that. So as you're looking at your labels, I want you to look first to the ingredient list. Look how long that is. All right, and let me read to you some of the things. There's enriched flour. Anytime you see enriched, do you know what that means? That means that they stripped so many nutrients out of it that they had to add like manufactured nutrients into it. Okay, there's soybean and palm oil, whey, sugar, cheddar, cheese, dextrose, sodium phosphate, lactic acid, citric acid, all these things that are not quite necessary. Now this is for my kids. This was all I could find, but you'd be surprised. Like, Andy and I are doing the Whole30 nutrition plan, kind of blending it with the portion containers that I use. And we went to go get beef broth, and I've used beef broth for years, but everything in the store has sugar in it. Like they added sugar to it. And so again, like that's not as good for your body. Let me give you an example of something that would be okay. So these are Kind bars. I haven't even looked at this yet. Andy got them at the store. He says they're good. They're Whole30 friendly. So let me read to you the ingredients. Cherry, apple, chia seeds. That's it. Okay, so that is okay. Like those are foods that we recognize, right? You get the superfoods from chia seeds, and cherries are good, and apples are good. Those are good foods. Peanut butter is another super sneaky food. You see natural peanut butter, and you know what you need in peanut butter? Peanuts. Peanuts. That's it. You can get a peanut butter with just straight up peanuts. We have at our grocery store, they grind it, you get in a thing, but find it somewhere, because there are so many people are adding little bits, right? Like, oh, it's probably fine if I just said just a little bit of this and just a little bit of that. Well, all that little bits of things, it has an impact on your body. And that little bit can make your body crave more. And I can totally attest to that, because we would sneak in all these little things. And since we've eliminated them, I'm not craving sugars. I'm feeling the best I felt in years. I don't have stomach discomfort. And that takes paying attention to those ingredients, being really honest with yourself, and not letting them sneak in. Another one of the sneaky ones are like yogurts. Oh, it's a light and fit yogurt. It's fine. Check the ingredients. A lot of times they add a lot of sugars, they add a lot of chemicals, a lot of things that is not as good for your body. The best and simplest thing to do is just eat foods that don't even have a nutrition label, right? It came from the earth or came from an animal or whatever. That's a great way to start. Okay. So the second thing that is huge is not eating enough. So I'll tell you a story to kind of explain this. I've worked with a set of challengers for a year, about a year. And, you know, they had kind of stalled weight loss. It was kind of slow. And I was racking my brain like, what is going on? I don't understand what's going on. And so what I started to do is I have all of my clients do, like those color-coded containers, you know, those, you see them on the infomercials. So I have them do that because I get it to where I base it on what their body type is, what their needs are, and it tells them like, oh, you need 5 green containers, which are vegetables. So you have to fill that at least 5 times a day with vegetables. And so anyway, I would have them check in with a report of what their nutrition was for the day. It was eye-opening to me. Because for me, I love food. I love food. So my daily struggle is I want to eat more than my body really needs. And so it never occurred to me how many people, especially women, go without what their body needs. They don't eat enough. And so that particular month, I had them check in and they had to just share a like snapshot of like how they did with their containers. And we started to realize, wow, especially the people who were having the biggest struggle with their weight loss, they weren't even eating all of their containers. And so we challenged each other. Okay, we're gonna all eat all of our containers. Easy for me, but not so easy for them. We're gonna eat all of our containers. And let's see what happens. It was the highest weight loss success group I had ever had in my challenges. And I know it is because it really pushed them to use up all those containers, okay? Use up all those containers. Because your body, if it's not getting enough food, it wants to hold on to things, right? Naturally. I mean, you think about like, I don't know, a squirrel or whatever. They're like hoarding nuts for the winter. That's how your body is. If your body's not getting what it needs, it's gonna wanna hold on to things because like, wait, I'm not gonna get what I need, so let me just, you know, use what I got here. And you don't want that. Okay. All right. So those are the big tips that I have. But if you have any questions on this, okay, or if you want a little bit more of my help, maybe you want some help getting on a specific nutrition plan for you that's based so you can make sure you're eating enough and you're also eating a balance. Oh, that's the other thing I should say. You know how I said the processed food things? That doesn't mean that you just go out and you eat like 50 bananas a day because that, you know, it's okay, there's no ingredient list and it comes from earth. You do want a balance of what's called macronutrients. So that's fats and protein and carbohydrates. Our body needs those and there's a good balance to have. So if you want some help with a nutrition plan where, you know, I can help make sure that it's paired to you and your specific needs, let me know, you know, comment below and I can help you get paired up with something that can give you a little bit more direction. But other than that, the 2 things, make sure you're eating enough. You can go to like MyFitnessPal and figure out your calories. That is one way to help. And also watching those labels. You're gonna be surprised. And that'll be a challenge for today. I want you to go and I want you to look at the labels of what you eat and tell us, are things sneaking in? Okay, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day. It was nice chatting with you. Bye.